the counterbalance to the room. Look at that. The, uh, All right, thank you, Nancy. Thank you for being here on short notice for what will be a short news conference. As you know, the City Council is scheduled to adopt the biennial budget for 2018-2020 on this coming Monday. It's a strong budget, invests heavily in public safety, which of course is always the top priority of Lincoln residents, and it does that without raising the property tax rate. That budget also includes about $65 million a year for street maintenance and construction. Since 2010, we have increased our investment in streets by about 58%. At the same time, we know we have a long ways to go. I've been going door to door recently, and that is the message that I frequently hear from our residents. And that's what was recently confirmed by the Lincoln Citizens Transportation Coalition. We are working to implement many of the coalition's recommendations, but we still have a gap in street funding. It's important that we continue to look at every way possible to maximize investment in our streets. In July, we announced, you may recall, that we're able to add $2.8 million over the next 2 years for streets as a result of health insurance rates that came in lower than projection. Today, we're announcing that we have identified almost $1 million annually that can be set aside for streets. We have received final property valuation numbers, and they are $949,000 a year higher than projected. That is the result of our strong growth policy. Kudos to all of our citizens who are keeping our city growing. I want to stress that this is not found money nor a new pot of money. The budgeting process requires us to make projections on revenues and expenses before we actually have the final numbers. Our practice is to protect taxpayers by being very conservative in these estimates. That practice has served us well. To further protect taxpayers, we will defer to mid-biennium any decision on whether to spend the nearly $1 million annually for streets. The reason has to do with another projection, this one on sales tax revenue, which funds about 42% of our tax-funded budget. Our proposal is to set aside the funds until we know whether we are likely to meet our sales tax projections. If we do not meet overall projections, the funds will be used to prevent budget cuts at the mid-biennium. On the other hand, if our revenues do come in as projected, we are more than confident then we can invest those funds in our streets. The plan right now is to get the most bang for our buck by directing those funds at the appropriate time towards arterial and residential street rehabilitation and preventative maintenance strategies. A great example of those strategies is the sealing work that is currently being done all this summer to fix our streets and extend their life. Any mid-biennium changes, of course, will require City Council action. Again, I want to stress that we continue to look for ways, both big and small, to invest more in our streets. Building and maintaining our street network is a critical part of how we will continue to invest to make Lincoln a world-class city. So with that, I'm going to stop, and I would invite up here to help me answer your questions Brandon Kaufman, our Finance Director, and Utilities Director Mickey Esposito. unless you don't have any questions and want to save us the trouble.
I have like technical questions that can be answered.
Okay,
Okay. She said off the mic.
off the mic.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions? Well, all right. We're good to go. It was even shorter than I thought. Thank you.